Let's get going. Welcome everybody to Talking Niagara. Welcome, Mike. Welcome everybody. Okay, it is Monday, the 9th of March. 9th of March, yes, 9th of March. And we are here. Well, I guess this is what you would call week 2 of the Iran war.
Yeah, week 2. The oil prices are going up pretty high, so I expect that they'll come to a deal sooner or later. Well, there doesn't seem to be. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, actually, there's part of a problem that the US has got. They've got major league depleted oil reserves, which is driving prices up for oil in the US.
Yeah, well, Trump, the numbskull. Now, what he said when he first got in, he said he was going to fill the reserves back up. As we know, back in 2022, when Russia invaded Ukraine, oil prices went way up. To keep them down, to hold them down from going too far up, Biden did what other presidents have done, have tapped into the reserves, the national reserves, to help keep the prices down. And then the thing is, when the crisis is over, when the crisis is over and things are stabilized, you fill that back up again, right?
Yeah.
And that was in the process, and that's what Trump said he was going to do. First thing he was going to do is fill those right back up again. But he didn't do it.
Yeah.
Now he's got nothing he can release into the U.S. to reduce the prices.
Yeah.
What a numbskull. What a numbskull.
Basically, so that everybody's aware, there's about 415 million barrels of oil that is in this reserve pack, which is about half of the 714 million barrels, which is what is contributing to the rising price of gas right now. And, not actually, the interesting thing was that while we've had rising prices in gas over the last 5 years, the US was kept relatively stable price-wise until recently.
No, that's not the truth. That's not the truth. I can go back. I did a lot of driving, and way back over 10 years ago.
I'm not talking about 10 years ago.
I'm talking about $1.30. We're up to $1.30 a liter. Then they came back down and back up and back down. So, and the same thing in the States.
About US, I said US prices remained stable.
No, they did not. They did not. They went up during the Russia-Ukraine war. They were kept down from going up too high because of the reserves.
Yeah,
coming in to the reserve supply coming into.
Last time I went to the US, it was about 375 to 380 a gallon.
When was that? When was that?
That was a couple of years, about summer before last.
Summer before last, probably still under the influence of the Ukraine-Russia
thing. Which is about the same as they had been pre-COVID levels.
All right, so it's down. They got it down to 290. It's been going down steadily, first through Biden, then through Trump, to about 280, 290 in that range. Now it's bumped right back up to 350 or plus on average in the United States. So no, it hasn't stayed steady. It's gone up and down just like we have. That's my thinking anyway.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, but I don't go over enough to know what the price is on a week-by-week basis.
Yeah, well, the whole idea was to bring down gas prices. That's drill, baby, drill, and all that. But the gas and oil prices were coming down anyway because of the ample supply in the world. The United States itself produces more oil than any other country by extreme, way, way, way more. And as we've mentioned in this program before, it has enough oil to supply its own needs. It doesn't need anyone else's oil, plus it can sell some. But what it does is it imports oil from Canada, cheap oil from Canada, to use in their refineries that are set up for heavy crude, and sells their good stuff offshore. They have this light sweet crude that comes from fracking, a lot of it, and that's really good for selling. They make a huge amount of money selling, so they buy the cheap stuff from us and they sell their good stuff. That's kind of different way of doing it, you would think. But as far as supply, they don't have any worry about supply, but price, because the world oil connected is all connected, and they don't really have much of much control over that price. They can on natural gas. Natural gas is an independent thing, so natural gas may go up for some people and not go up for others. Like, we're not going to see an increase in natural gas here because it's not a world connected market, but oil is. It's a hugely world connected thing, and so oil is going to go up. We can see it here. I gassed up last night because I listened to the news and they're talking about they bombed the oil reserves in Tehran. Oil production in the UAE and some of the other Gulf states has gone down. It's even stopped. They've called a force majeure about delivering oil, and I could think, well, the next time I go to the gas station, it might be $1.60. So when I saw it was $1.38, I filled up my tank because I don't expect it to go down anytime soon.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, I'm not, I'm like you. I don't expect it to go down anytime soon. And there is a big question out there as well. We produce enough of oil of our own that we can run our own oil reserves again, like the US. So why is the price going up?
Well, it's because it's a world connected thing. That's always been bewildering to me. We are an oil producer. We have ample supply for ourselves, plus many others, and yet our price goes up with the rest of the world. I think the oil companies are just happy to make extra money for nothing sometimes. But the other factor here is the world economy. 20% of the world's oil goes through the Straits of Hormuz. That's a big blow to a lot of the countries. Now we find a situation where the United States has dropped the sanctions on Russian oil for China, for India. That's like insane. Like, the thing that is pushing Russia, helping Russia lose the war in Ukraine, is the sanctions on it. So they go to a war with Iran and say, okay, well, our buddy India is going to need some oil, so we'll drop the sanctions on Russian oil so Russia can get a whole lot more money. At the same time, the Ukrainians have to come in and help the United States with the drones. Like, the Ukrainians got better drone technology, believe it or not, for defense against drones. And the United States has asked them to come and help them with their defense against these drones that they're very, very equipped for, because they've been facing Iran-made drones for a very long time because Russia's been buying them. And the payback here is, well, guess what? We're going to let Russia buy oil, or India buy oil from Russia. So now Russia's got a lot more money to continue with the war. I mean, everything is backpedaled upside down, inside out. I would hazard a guess that this was not planned that well. Outside the military operation, the military operation went swimmingly. Nothing could be said different about it. The intelligence was incredible. The electronics is fabulous. The coordination was superb. Nobody's got anything that touches that, and yet they don't think of the economic consequences thereafter. It just boggles my mind.
Yeah. Well, the interesting thing is, Iran has got a new leader, right? Or supposedly, Ayatollah Muhammad Mahdi Bagheri is supposed to be the new Ayatollah.
No, it's not. It's Mujtani. It's his. You're thinking of the spokesperson there, I think. Are you thinking of the spokesperson?
Possibly. Yeah, maybe this article.
Bagheri said great efforts to determine the leadership. He's a spokesperson, and he says, yeah. So who's coming in is Mujtani, who is the Ayatollah's son. I don't know if it's his first or second oldest son, but he's a hardliner. He fought with the he's a soldier himself. He was a participant, a real soldier. He fought in wars with Iraq, that long drawn out war. I think it was 8 years long.
Mm.
He's got strong connections with the Republican Guard, the IRGC.
Yeah.
And it doesn't look like this war is going to end anytime soon. Now, whether they can find him and kill him, that is what Israel has stated. I think also the United States, but Israel has stated that whoever the leader is, we're going to kill him. Find a leader and we're going to kill him. We're going to keep doing that. Every time you put out a leader, we're going to hunt him down and we're going to kill him. That's all there is to it. And they think they're having success in this part because they say, according to their own intelligence, they find that police officers and militia people are not showing up to work or not showing up to where they're supposed to be. So they think they've already pulled off something. But anyway, who says here, fear and speculation drive prices is a bunch of BS. 20% of the world's oil moves through the Strait of Hormuz. Should not affect us. Yeah, particularly in an oil-producing country like Canada. But you will find that your natural gas was probably not going to be affected because it's not connected in a worldwide system as oil is. Well, oil, for some reason, is connected in a worldwide system, world market. And if it goes up for somebody, it's going to go up for us.
Yeah.
Natural gas is going to go up huge for people like in Europe that get a large amount of it coming from the Gulf area. So some people are going to find
Europeans. It's weird actually when you consider that natural gas is one of the biggest areas for natural gas is the North Sea. Yeah, only Britain and Norway seem to be users of it.
Well, we've got scads and scads of it here. That's why we're trying to do the LNG thing. So, that's what makes this so bad right now. Canada could be supplying the world with a lot of oil, a lot of safe supplies of oil, but it did not prepare for this. It kind of laid back its oil production, because of the evil environmental thing that was surrounded it, and also natural gas. We find ourselves in a situation where we can supply so much more and alleviate the prices for a lot of people around the world, but we've never built the infrastructure. We never did take advantage or exploit that situation. And now we're in a situation where we could have made money hand over fist at the same time as helping the rest of the world cope with another U.S. war.
Yeah. All right, moving on to something more local. South Buffalo pumping station was shut because of flushable wipes, tissues, and other items that should never have been flushed. One of the things that they showed looked like a condom.
It might have been, but the big problem here is what kind of paper can go through the toilet system, the sewage systems. Now, we should be reminded of this over and over again. There's a thing called flushable wipes, but they are not flushable.
Yeah,
they're not flushable. They will bog up a sewer system. They showed in this demonstration what they did was they took toilet paper, Kleenex, and flushable wipes, and they put them in a pan of water, just a regular pan of water, and showed what happens to that paper and what the sewage system has to deal with. So they took the Kleenex, and when they picked it up, the Kleenex had been soaking for a long time. And they pick it up, and it's still integral. It's a wad. It doesn't break down. It doesn't bust apart. It mostly stays together. That gets clogged up in the system, and that's our system. Where there's like Buffalo's had a real problem with it now. Because they have to dig all the stuff out of their sewage lines.
Well,
and that is what's backing up the sewage lines is Kleenex and these things called flushable wipes, which are not flushable because they did the same thing They took a flushable wipe, submerged it in water, and left it stay there, and saw what happened to it. It stayed consistent. It didn't break apart.
Yeah.
Toilet paper, on the other hand, when put into water and left to stay there, it falls in pieces, in little pieces.
Yeah.
So it's made
designed
to go
that way.
The sewage system. Yeah.
Yeah, it's designed that way. And even if you were to cut up pieces of normal pieces of paper, like like that you might get in the mail, even if you were to cut that up and flush it, it would generally stay hard, wouldn't it?
Yeah. So the big thing here is Buffalo's had a big expense and a lot of problems trying to get the sewage system's fine. There's nothing wrong with the sewage system. What's wrong with the sewage system is what people are putting into it.
Yeah. And they had to basically shut down the South Buffalo pumping station because of these items that should never have been flushed. And essentially, while they were unclogging their system, it meant that 18,000 gallons a minute of untreated sewage were just dumped into the local creek, Casanova
Creek.
Yeah. And that's inevitably what happens when people have to shut down and clean out a pumping station.
That's right. Raw sewage goes right into the local creek. So it's just important. I put it there because I thought, well, yeah, we always have to be reminding ourselves of that kind of thing, eh?
Yeah.
In Thailand, when I was in Thailand, most of the places I went, the toilet paper was there to dry yourself off. What you use is there's a little hose with a little hose that you use to clean yourself, and then you use the toilet paper just to dry yourself. And after that, and the toilet paper goes in a wastebasket.
Yeah,
right?
You put that paper into a wastebasket because that's not flushable.
Yeah. So
the other thing is we've got 3-inch pipes. Much of the rest of the world, South America, they use 1.5-inch pipes. As do they in places like Thailand, they use 1.5-inch pipes rather than 3-inch pipes.
Well, I just know that a lot of Southeast Asia, they just don't have the capacity for that because they've always used. Actually, they're cleaner than us basically because they clean off with the hose, and then they dry off. And I don't know, but anyway, that's kind of gross. But it's a good lesson for us to remember that, and I think we should be reminded of that from time to time because people get lazy. And of course, when you look at something that says a flushable wipe, you're going to believe that. Oh, it must be flushable. Well, it's not.
Yeah, it's not flushable. Yeah. And in fact, they shouldn't be allowed to use the name flushable wipes, should they?
Exactly.
Yeah. All right, moving on. Niagara Health partners with regional physician recruiter.
Yeah, I read this. So you have a recruiter. Now, nowhere there do they say it's a professional, but obviously it's implied that she's a professional. She's got a team, and they recruit doctors. How much is this person being paid? Can you figure out anything about during this article?
Typically, most recruiters are paid on a percentage. Typically it's the equivalent of 1 month's salary after they've been there for 3 months.
Well, but in this particular case, you don't know. You're just sort of guessing right now.
I don't know. I just know from recruitment that when I've recruited people in past jobs, that's typically what a recruitment agent costs.
Okay, so this recruitment person, Jill, Quatreau, I got to get her name.
Quatreau. Yeah, Quatreau.
Yeah. So she and her team are partnering with the Niagara Health System to draw doctors into the area. It looks like bringing doctors into the area is going to cost us more than we thought. I think it's going to be like $100,000 a doctor, isn't it? Something like that.
Something in that region, yes, yeah.
And we were offering $50,000, and our neighbors were offering $100,000, so we're kind of being outbid. And part of the thing is they go around and they look around, like they were going to Britain there and looking for young doctors and sort of offering them up, jobs over here in Canada. And that's a good way for somebody to come into Canada and even get the foot into North America. But then they can promise them more than just, okay, if you want to continue your work in emergency services, or if you want to specialize, we can help you out with that too. Let's say you want to be an osteopath or some other kind of specialized doctor, right? Or surgeon or something like that. You could probably they'll help you out with that. Kind of help you aim yourself that way. So that's kind of interesting. But still, how much do they get paid? It's not saying that, but the Niagara Health says teaming up with Jill and her team is better than not. But nothing's talked about how much they're going to cost us. It's going to cost us a lot of money to attract doctors here, evidently. Well, that's okay as long as we get them. But the problem I see really is we're going to outbid all the doctors that should be headed towards Northern Ontario and other places more remote. Of course, you're going to be able to dangle a carrot here and say, here's $100,000 and here you go. Here's your startup fees and we're going to help you with this. We're going to help you with that. Meanwhile, some little places, some of those communities up north cannot fight that way. They cannot compete in that way. They've got nowhere near the kind of money, and they're going to go doctorless. We're going to have them all, and they're going to have none. Yeah, and that's where I think the province should step in, because seriously, we're gonna get doctors, all right. Anyone in Southern Ontario will probably have a doctor, but most of Northern Ontario may not, and that won't change because we've got the money to attract them.
Yeah. Well, and but again, there's going to be regions that have got more money than we have to attract doctors.
Well, we're fairly wealthy that way because we've got a brand new hospital going up. There's research facilities here. There's Buffalo right across the river, and we've got Toronto just up the road. Toronto may be able to attract more than us, but after that, we're still pretty attractive. We've got Hamilton, McMaster. These are all medical facilities that are close by. And that's what doctors like, especially if they're expanding or becoming specialists and stuff like that. They want
to mind you, big problem. Anybody who's a recruit around here is if they talk around and they ask just normal people about what the reputation is of Niagara Health. Of course, that would probably be the thing of, Niagara, I wouldn't trust Niagara Health to go anywhere else but Niagara Health. They get back, it would be almost a negative recruitment thing, wouldn't it?
Yeah. So I don't know. They say Niagara Health says that this is a better way to go, teaming up with.
Undoubtedly, it is.
With this group of recruiters, Jill Croteau and her group of recruiters. There's a lot of things I have to say about it, but I mean, we need the doctors, so I guess we'll get the doctors. But like I said before, I think the province should try to step in and see if they can equalize where the doctors go, because you're going to have populations in north of Toronto. You're not too far north from Barrie, and you'll start getting less and less. Maybe Sudbury, because they have pretty good hospitals up there. You might be able to attract a few, but down this way, it's a good place to come and exercise being a doctor. Like I said before, you got Buffalo, the university's in Buffalo right across the river there. You've got their hospitals. You've got Hamilton and McMaster University Hospital. You've got Toronto and their hospitals. So and plus our brand new hospital. So we have facilities for doctors to pursue their careers very well. And this would be a good place for a doctor when they look at all those, attributes for the area. But $100,000 each, and how much is the recruiters being paid? Well, cha-ching, cha-ching.
Yeah. All right.
It's going to it's going to go on the taxpayer one way or another.
Yeah. At the end of the day, though, recruiters generally, if you get a recruiter who's worth their salts, they'll bring people to your area.
Well, that's the whole point of it.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly is the whole point of it. All right, moving on. Moving on, Niagara is ready to benefit from the World Cup.
Yeah, this is a kind of a fluff piece I put in there, and the local politicians and spokespeople, of course, are just saying, "Oh, this is wonderful. This is great. This is here's something on March 9th. Oh, yeah. Turn that back. It's now March 9th. That's today. Join the Niagara Health Coalition, Wayne Gates, and the Ontario Health Coalition president at the Gale Center from 6:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. Oh, okay. I guess we're going to get some info. You can have the best hospital and the best equipment, but with only one doctor in ER, will still be
a disaster. Yeah, it will be a disaster.
Yeah. Every one of us is being that way. God damn it, I had a broken hip.
It's a breach of your human rights, by the way. I think challenge them to HRTO.
Yeah, well, you know what? We just don't have enough doctors. We haven't really conducted our the problem with socialized medicine is it gets overlaid with too much bureaucracy and too much nonsense, and I think the very view that you're supposed to be providing good health benefits for your people, and the problem is it gets layered over and over again with more and more bureaucracy, and the efficiencies have lost. There's got to be some kind of way, like we run the casino, where you get a professional outfit to run it, and the province just funds it,
Yeah.
But anyway, aside from all that, so it is a human rights thing, and I don't know. It's a galling thing. Oh, excuse me.
Yeah.
Anyway, so as far as family doctors going on, well, we're going to get some, it looks like, and we've got this outfit to do it. And we're right back here. Let's get back to the story at hand, and that is the World Cup. And I put that up there because, well, it's just a fluff issue, and it's just something of interest. Now, the local politicians and everybody is saying, oh, this will going to really highlight the Niagara Falls and present us to the world, because the World Cup soccer matches are going to be happening in Toronto. Yeah. So the hope is there that we'll get a lot of spillover from this. I can't see that not happening. I'm very sure that the fans and even the players that come here, if they have a chance, will come down to Niagara Falls, because it's only an hour and a half kick down the road.
Of course they will, yeah.
Yeah, and in between matches anyways, what are you going to do? So you come down to Niagara Falls and have a good look at it. It's world famous, et cetera, and it's really nice and beautiful, and so on and so on. So, yeah, we can advertise it, and that.
Well, we get visitors from about 170 to 180 countries every year anyway. Chances are that we're going to get those people who are playing in Toronto, as well as a number of other nations as well. I don't know.
Go ahead.
Will it really improve our the numbers of people staying in the falls? Possibly.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think during the times of the matches, we're going to get quite a bit of influx, and this is a time for people who normally might not travel. You'll have people from all over the world. I don't know what matches are going to happen in Toronto, but you're going to have people from all over the world come, and they're definitely they're going to have some cabbage on hand, because You don't make those kind of arrangements unless you got a little bit of lettuce going on in your wallet.
Oh yeah,
And and so to do a shoot down to Niagara, whether it's a 1-day stay though, there's the other thing. They might have their accommodations in Toronto, just come down for a day and go back.
yeah.
So I don't know if it's going to fill up the hotels that much. It may, but one of the things they're touting in this article is that we're going to,
especially with the use of the with the train now. We got more trains coming per day, so there's less people staying. We get more people but less overnight stays.
Yeah,
that's the norm. That's the norm of 2026. And it's been the norm for the last 2 or 3 years.
Well, obviously they're filling up those hotels, or they wouldn't be there either. So,
yeah, but I'm saying, yeah. Well, I don't know. Some of the hotels have been keen to, have been happy to keep those. Some of the hotels have not been doing that well.
Which ones?
There's been hotels that have been changing from hotels to residences.
Which ones?
There's one on Ferry Street that changed about 4 or 5 years ago.
Oh, I'm talking about the ones right down on
not the main ones. I mean the off strip ones.
Oh yeah. Oh, they've been in transition for a long time, but the big brand new ones. And that was one of the issues that the Lundy's, the Lundy's Lane Business Association had. If you build those mega hotels right beside the river's edge there, right there, then that's going to cut into their action. That's exactly what happened, isn't it?
Yeah,
right. They built these mega hotels, and it killed the hotel industry on Lundy's Lane.
Yeah, and Lundy's Lane is essentially today just a is more a local thing than it is a national. It's more a local issue. It's a local. It's for a local shop nowadays.
Yeah. Well, that aside, people are going to come into Niagara Falls, right? And what they're touting here in the article is that this is going to be another advertisement to Niagara Falls to the world, because we're going to have a world audience here.
Yeah.
Come. And I don't, that's nice. And always keeping Niagara Falls top of mind is a good thing. That's what you do as an advertiser. And that's something that Jim Daddy seemed to have done very well, is made sure that everyone knows about Niagara Falls all over the world. He's touted the place spectacularly. It's probably part of the vision the city hall has had to keep everybody top of mind that Niagara Falls is here, and it is a safe, very good, spectacular place to come. And so the whole world knows it, and obviously in this article it says 170 people from 175 different countries have visited here. But we don't have to look too far. We still need our domestic and our American neighbors to come. That's the most important part of our tourism so far.
Yeah. Okay. The games that are going to be played in Toronto is, we don't know, Canada versus it could be Italy, Wales, Bosnia, Herzegovina, or Northern Ireland. But the winners of that group play off. The Ghana and Panama, Germany and Ivory Coast, Panama and Croatia, Senegal, and their possible opponents are Bolivia, Iraq, or Suriname.
Well, it looks like it's going to be very interesting. We here in North America are just sort of getting into the World Cup thing. We didn't follow soccer very much most of my youth.
No,
it was sort of just a thing on the side. You might kick a ball one of them, but nobody really played much soccer. But that's changing now. And the biggest game is soccer.
Yeah.
The world's biggest game worldwide is soccer.
Yeah.
And this may indeed open up more, but I can hardly see too many. Like you get people from Ghana and Panama or Senegal here. I can't really see a whole lot of tourist trade coming from Ghana, Panama, or Senegal in the future because these are relatively poor countries. Like Panama is developing very well right now, but Senegal is dirt poor and Ghana is dirt poor. I mean, they are both, all of them are developing countries and on their way, but I don't think we'll attract too many tourists from those areas. But it's nice to get the word out. So if somebody from Senegal comes and looks at Niagara Falls and spreads word back home, we'll probably get more Senegalese visitors at one time or another. Who knows? The whole idea is get as many tourists as you can from all over the world. And because that, whether you like it or not, whether you want to admit it or not, tourism is the foundation stone of Niagara Falls economy.
It is. It is. We know that. It always has been. Anyway, yes. So those were the possible nations that come here. And of course, the other thing about it is that we have people living in Canada from each of those nations I've just mentioned. Anyway,
that's true. But they already have Niagara Falls available to them. So anyone from Senegal who lives in Toronto can come down here anyway. And we've seen.
I'm just saying that you have got some Senegalese Americans or Senegalese Canadians that will come to Toronto to support their team in the World Cup, and as a result, as a side effect, will come to Niagara Falls.
Yeah. So in that particular case, you're not inviting the rest of the world. You're just inviting people who happen to have come from that area that live in Niagara Falls or live in Canada or the United States.
Yeah.
So you might have because they're be coming into the area anyway to watch the Senegalese play.
And make it a 2 or 3 day trip rather than a 1 day trip.
Yeah. So you don't know. But anyway, the article was all about showcasing Niagara Falls to the world when we already have visitors from 175 countries in the world. And how many countries are there in the world? There's only a couple hundred, aren't there?
196, I believe.
196. Well, in any case, we have 175 of them. I guess we need the rest to come.
Yeah.
Anyway, what else have we got? There's nothing much else we can say about that.
Moving on. OPP rescued 23 people off of ice shelf as it separated from the shore at Georgian Bay. We were talking about this possibility a couple of weeks back when they were talking about the beautiful ice out on Lake Erie.
Yes. So here we have a situation. Now these are northern people, and they were ice fishing, and they got caught. When the ice shelf broke off and broke into pieces and drifted I think it was 1 or 2 kilometers off the shore. I think it went quite a ways. And what's happened here is they probably had beautiful thick blue ice for a long time. And suddenly the temperature changed and went radically warm. It was very cold and went radically warm. But that's not the whole story. Of course, it warms up and you think, well, still, how much could that do, just warming things up? Well, there's other things involved here. When you warm up, you swell up the rivers and because of melt. Now the rivers are discharging more water into the bay and churning and making currents much stronger than they normally would be. And that broke the ice shelf off. It must have been a huge surprise to those people up there. What happened here was there was 23 people, some of them in slush, actually. And the rescue teams told them to lie down and spread their weight out so they didn't fall through the ice anymore. And can you imagine, you are now looking at hypothermia. You've got to lie down and spread yourself out so you don't break through the ice, but at the same time, you're exposed to icy waters, even if you're dressed well. So they had to get these people off of there and treat them for hypothermia rather quickly because hypothermia will take you.
Yeah, looking where they dropped them off on land, it looks as if there was a fairly rapid melt of of the ice
Well,
because there's very little on the landing area. It's all green, with patches of ice, patches of snow around that greenery. The big
well,
melting of snow and ice.
yeah, I think the people got very surprised by this. They had a good shelf of ice, very good shelf of ice, very confident to go out there and do some ice fishing, 23 people. And this time of year, it's rather early, quick melt. And you have some really good ice, and then you got a quick melt. Now, normally that doesn't make much difference. The ice stays there for quite a long time. But like they said, that the currents are changing because of the meltwater swells. And because it was warm so fast, you got a lot of meltwater going into the rivers and then pushing into the bay and changing the currents. Anyway, this is a success story, though. This is a good one. Like, we don't have to talk about people who died of hypothermia. We don't have to talk about people who tragically got out on the ice and there's nothing that could be done about it. Imagine this 60, 70 years ago, they would have had to go out in boats to get them, and they might not have got them all.
And Gary's right here. Sometimes it's called common sense. Get off the frigging ice
Yeah.
when it warms up. Common sense, absolutely.
Hey, it's a bit slushy out here. Come on, fellas. There might be fish out here.
Yeah. I've told you before, I'm not a fan of going out on the ice anyway. Even though you've assured me that there are sections of ice that would be perfectly safe, I don't feel safe doing it.
Well, yeah, the ice, there's nothing wrong with ice, but you got to know what you're doing. And right now, I would have followed them like sheep up there. If I had gone up there and those guys, those 23 people are out there ice fishing, I would have said, oh, well, they must know what they're doing. They're northern boys, right?
Yeah.
And I would have been shocked. But in the lake that I used to have a cottage on, I would be quite fine being on that lake right at this time of year. Because they get when it gets really cold, they get a real good thick blue ice in there, and that's that. For some reason, Americans call that black ice, but we call it up here blue ice. We're good thick shelf of ice, and very, very sturdy.
Trouble is with something like a large lake, like George, like large lake area like Georgian Bay. It's quite deep up there, and if a shelf breaks away from the land, that's what's disastrous, isn't it?
Well, yeah, you've got a big body of water there, a bay, a big, huge bay.
Yeah.
Now you can walk right out into. I don't know what they're doing in Lake Erie right now. If they still have ice fishermen out there. I don't know. I think I told you the story about my sons when they were out there fishing.
But this weekend it was 15 degrees or higher. So that a lot of that must have melted by now.
It can get pretty slushy on top there, but you still got a thick run of ice underneath. But I'll tell you what happened to my sons when they were out there one time. They were out ice fishing way out. They were about, I don't know how, quite a bit out there on the ice, and they felt something. Their fishing rods started to sing like this, and their hair started lifting off their heads like this, and they felt this snappy tingling stuff, right? And they knew that that was a sign that lightning might be coming. So they all laid down, which was smart of them, and there was a few lightning discharges, but not just, I don't know, 40, 50 feet away. The other ones, no one there felt anything, but they did, and then they got up again and the whole thing started again too. Their fishing rods started to sing when they were standing up, and their hair started to lift up. So they just got the hell out of there. Mm-hmm. But that was in the wintertime, and you can still have lightning discharges But when you get something like that, that means there's lightning is looking for a place to go, and it's going to be close to you, maybe, you know.
Well, the question is, okay, so how is Lake Erie right now? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, so I'm just looking that up.
I would say the same thing. Fishermen and others still have to have the same idea that there's going to be a lot of meltwater coming rather quickly this time of year, because the temperatures have changed so radically that so much water is melted and it's going into the rivers and then pushing into the lakes, and that's causing a stronger current to happen, or a fluctuation of current. So well, you can still have the same thing that happened in Georgia Bay.
Yeah. Lake Erie's ice coverage is declining. It was a peak in early February. It was a peak of 96%. And the current coverage is estimated at about 70% right now.
Yeah. So you have to start to be very careful what's going on there. Even if it gets colder again, remember, there's still a lot of meltwater in there, and you know, I say
so careful. It's gone down quite a bit due to the recent warm spells.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, anyway.
Yeah. Well, that's what Google's AI gave me, an AI overview very quickly.
Yeah. Well. Anyway, keep that in mind if you're going to go ice fishing. I think Gary's a shore fisherman at this particular time, so he's a wise riverman, so I don't think he'll get caught. But anybody can get in trouble.
He's basically, Gary's saying Lake Erie is breaking up pretty good. I'm done going out.
Going out there.
Yeah.
Okay, so there you have it from the horse's mouth, man. Like, the guy knows the river, and he knows the lakes around here very well. So if you need advice, Gary's a man.
Yeah, and if he's saying he's done going out there, you aren't go. Don't go. Yeah, and I think that was the other reason for this article anyway, is a warning to local people.
Yeah, basically it is. So keep an eye out there. I think that's a good news story after all. I am really glad that the rescue teams were able to adapt to that situation very quickly.
Yeah.
They had 2 helicopters going. They had people ready for the hypothermia, the whole works. So I was really, really impressed when I read about that. They got 23 people out there with 2 helicopters. Some people immersed in slush, and they tried to get those people out first. So it was really well coordinated. And I gotta say, hats off to the rescuers on that one, for the police and rescue systems. Hats off.
Yeah. All right. There's a reporter in Nashville who's been covering ICE arrests, and then she got arrested herself. Mind you, I have to say one thing before we talk about ICE. I have to find this profile picture of her published on CNN. Is a bit on the kind of the portrait of her. It's a bit on the goes way too low on on her chest.
You forget though that well, she's a Latin woman, and that's the way they dress. They're very sensuous. A lot of the Latin cultures.
Oh yeah, but I think it's the photographs way too risque.
I don't know. I wouldn't think it would be that for the Latin. Yeah. The Latino. Well, she's from Colombia, right?
Yeah.
And
she's legal, but she was a legal American.
Well, she wasn't an American. She was not an American. She was she is in the United States legally.
Yeah.
Right. Her husband or their boyfriend, whoever it is, was born here. Right. So she is from Colombia. She came from Colombia. She was a journalist, and one of her specialities was government corruption and crime and stuff. And what she found, according to her, is she found that she was being threatened a lot. And we find this, a lot of journalists die, like a lot of them did in Mexico. And anyone who tries to get on, start to cover corrupt government and criminals and stuff like that, find themselves in a rough spot. She got afraid enough, according to herself, that her and her 1-year-old child came to the United States and got an asylum. Basically, she's allowed to apply for a status, political status. And so she got a work permit too. So she was allowed to work here while her status is being reviewed. And what she did was just continue with her own work as a journalist. And she got a job with the Spanish-speaking media in Nashville, and she was covering ICE. And of course, lots of journalists are covering ICE, and she's just one. Well, they kind of turned around on her and said, okay, well, what about you? Are you here illegally? And so they grabbed her. Of course, obviously they went to grab her because she's been making problems for them. I don't think they would have really keyed up, because she's not a criminal or anything like that. She's exactly she's not the type of person you're supposed to target. What ICE is supposed to do is target the criminals. And if any other illegals are there, they'll get grabbed as well. But they're supposed to go after criminals primarily, and anyone who happens to be close to those criminals.
A journalist who's following them around is easy prey in a way, isn't she?
Yeah, and like I said, she's not a criminal; she's a journalist.
Yeah.
So she's been covering them, and so they're supposed to be going after criminals. Well, they didn't go after criminals this time, did they? They went after journalists, who was right out there in the open covering them, and they didn't like it. So they're going to make sure that they detain her, and they did. And they have, and there's vagaries about her legal status. Of course there are. So what is ICE losing it for on this? Like, they're spending a lot of money and time detaining this person when she's gone through the ordinary channels now, and has actually been able to get a work permit so that she could work as well. And
but again, her situation is that she's got a pending green card application.
Yeah, it was pending. And of course, like, so ICE, what is ICE supposed to be doing? It's supposed to be going after criminals, and there's tons of them, right? So what do they waste their time? They put an operation on here where they're actually surrounded the car that she was in and took her and detained her. So what are they wasting their time with? This woman is not going to be a criminal, even if she goes through the review eventually and her status is denied, then she'll be sent back to Colombia. But that process still has to happen. But she's not a criminal, has had no criminal records, has a job, and is and obviously doing everything she's supposed to. So why is ICE spending a whole lot of time on her? That's a waste of time. That's time you could have been looking for a drug lord or a drug or a people mover or a smuggler or anything like that. So they put out, they take an operation and surround her car with a bunch of agents that could be used other places, and they go after her. Like, she may have dubious, obviously, to her, she was fine in the United States. Her paperwork must be fine. Otherwise, she wouldn't be following ICE around, taking photographs and reporting to the Spanish networks in Nashville, obviously. So obviously this is, we're going to get rid of you kind of thing. Because we don't like what you're saying. Obviously she's not a criminal.
Basically, she's not. Her immigration status seems to be one where she's actually making all the right applications. Yes, she may well be Colombian, but she's making the right applications at the right time.
Well, Colombia doesn't have anything to do with it. As a matter of fact, it gives more credence to her story, because Colombia is a crime-ridden country full of narco criminals, and they've had a lot of difficulty trying to establish a democracy when all this is happening.
Yeah.
Colombia, and you have things like the FARC, who are the revolutionaries, leftist revolutionaries, and you have the drug lords and all that, and you've got a country that probably could be a very, very good country, very prosperous, if not for all of that. And if she's in there reporting on the corrupt government and the criminals that are, and then of course she's going to be, threatened. And she said she got afraid enough to get to the United States because of it. So that gives legitimacy to her. To her story. But even if the U.S. doesn't accept that story in the long run, in the meantime, they've given her time to go through the process and given her the right to work in the United States. So she has the right to work in the United States. She has the right to live in the United States as her application is pending. And so ICE knows this, of course they do, and then they try to pretend not, and they spend a lot of money going after her. They should be going after the Colombian who's bringing drugs into the country, not the Colombian who's writing stories for the Spanish networks.
Yeah. And the irony here, of course, is that a lot of that, I think, is actually just really to warn people, hey, where everybody is potentially at risk here if you're not an American. But even the strangest thing is about these is how many stories have we heard about non-white Americans who've been arrested?
Well, that's the number one thing, and oddly enough, it'd be another Hispanic that does it. So if you watch any clips, you see some on YouTube or something, it'll be a guy with a Spanish accent arresting another person with a Spanish accent and looks exactly the same as him.
Yeah.
One's legal, and the other, and he's spotting another person he thinks might not be legal. And guys going to the gas station, pulling up at a gas station, getting gas, and some ICE guy sees that he's brown, runs over and say, "Let me see your ID." I mean, that's not what they're supposed to be doing. They're supposed to be going after criminals.
Yeah.
And I hope they do recenter their efforts that way, because it would be nice to get rid of any criminal, of course.
And again, one asks the question: why were ICE agents sent to Italy for the Olympic Games?
Because the U.S. administration is stupid. Stupid.
Yeah, exactly. That's a problem.
They are stupid.
Yeah.
Noam was stupid, right? Bongino or whoever that other guy was, it was in Minnesota, was stupid. That's why they had to send Holman over there. He's got a brain at least, right? And he sorted things out. What do you think, Christy Noam? Like, did you ever hear what she was saying in front of all the Congress or whatever they were? What was the first impression I got? Stupid.
Yeah.
Stupid.
Yeah.
Who the hell? Who's this Botox lip bimbo anyway, right? So she's gone. Anyway, ICE is supposed to be ICE has been around for a very long time, and its reputation is very, very bad right now because imbeciles like Miller say you got to have a limit. You got to have a limit of 3,000 people a week. Grab 3,000 people a week. That's not the point of ICE. The point of ICE is to go after the bad guys. Go after the bad guys. Holman said if we find people around the bad guys that happen to be illegals, we're going to send them home too, even if they're not criminals.
And for example,
we're not going to go after them. Essentially, we're going to go after the bad guys, and going after the bad guys takes a lot more work.
Yeah, but for example, in this situation, how many Canadians are thinking twice about crossing the border into the US because they might be detained by ICE and thrown out, right? When they're going for a perfectly legitimate reason. Yeah, like you regularly go to ice hockey games, don't you?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Now, if I was But me and Trump were like that. Trump made me great.
Yeah, but if your face was not white, how would you feel about going?
I'd still feel just as handsome, but I don't know if
Of course you would, but you wouldn't necessarily go, would you?
Yeah.
You'd probably
I might
be
not.
a bit more hesitant about going.
Yes, I might not. And if I happen to be foreign born, I might not.
Yeah.
What was happening? We heard about what was the Girl Guides or the cadets, the Girl Cadets or something like that. We're not going to the States like they normally did for a regular jamboree. We reported on that some months ago.
Yeah.
And that was because of the crackdowns at the border. They were restraining Canadians, even Americans, right? And they didn't need to be brown people, right? They were just people. If they felt that you were from, you mentioned Wales the other day, right? Oh, you're from Wales, all right. How come you're here? They're just stabbing in the dark a lot of times for anybody. But of course, they're going to go after brown. And what was killer to me is what brown people with Spanish accents going after brown people with Spanish accents.
Yeah. One happens to work for, it's like, in a way, I suppose the good thing is about if you go work for ICE, you won't be investigating yourself, will you?
No. The best way to escape ICE is apply for a job.
Yeah.
With ICE.
Become an ICE agent, yes. Yeah. Yeah.
I speak Spanish. I've very good for you.
All right. Okay. Anything else to be covering?
No, I would say though that as always, I always talk about Gaza in the end because Gaza is going to be brutalized some more. The West Bank is going to be brutalized some more. I think Netanyahu has talked Trump into this war. Oh, finally, he's his 40-year dream. He said to get the United States to beat the hell out of Iran for them, and it happened. He talked Bush into beating up Saddam Hussein. He talked Obama into beating up Libya. Like this guy is good. He is good. He is the most, I don't know, probably the most effective politician.
Good for an evil dude, eh?
Yeah. Look, he's dragging the United States around by the nose. He's using AIPAC heavily, though. The Israeli lobby is doing its work inside the States, and you get idiots like Cruz and people thinking that the third temple is going to be built on Temple Mount. Oh my God. Hegseth thinks that one day the new temple on Temple Mount is going to be built. This is the idiot they've got for the Department of War, Stupid. Like, I'll have to work that out again. Stupid.
Yeah.
That's who Trump surrounded himself with. And that's why he is so much a tool right about now. Anyway, this war is going to continue. Gas prices are going to go up. Fertilizer prices are going to go way up. It's going to hurt Canadian farmers. It's really going to hurt European farmers. This has to end very, very soon. And I hope it does. And I hope the American public puts a lot of heat on the Republican Party and tells them you're going to get no votes at all in the midterms unless these gas prices go down. And the only way they're going to go down is that war ends.
Yeah. So. Yeah. Well, and the thing is, war against one of the biggest, oil countries is problematic anyway. And that's why a lot of prior presidents have not gone there.
Well, look what they've done. They're brutal on the people. They destroyed the oil reserves, and they knew this was going to cause a lot of problems for the people there. So they blew up the oil reserves, and there's nothing but a huge, huge dome of soot and oil over Tehran, and it's raining down oil, black rain when it does rain. The sewers have been ignited because the oil is spilt into the sewers, and they've ignited all through the city. It is poison. They've poisoned the people. And in the meantime, too, they knocked out their desalination plants, which means there is no water for the people. Why did you do that? Why did you strike the people you want to revolt and take over, and now you're depriving them of water. That's another stupid move.
Yeah.
Like when you jeopardize the people. So you're not going after military, are you now? You're going after oil. You're going after desalination plants. What does that mean? You're going after people, and you're blowing up little kids' schools too. And Trump, the big liar, says that it was Iran that blew up their own school. Lying dog. Oh my God, the guy lies like anything. Anyhow, I can't talk anymore about it because I'm going to get really, really angry. And I do want everybody not to forget Gaza, though. That is a nightmare. It's one of the most brutal things that ever happened in our lifetime. And I hope we can make some kind of fix there somehow. Anyway, without further ado, I bid you adieu.
Yeah, bye.